Have you ever blindly trusted someone and later realized you were completely deceived? Well, that is exactly how Ulanam catches us off guard. At first glance, he is just a cute little old man, a bit clumsy, the kind that instantly awakens affection. But behind that calm smile, there is a mind that plays with the perception and judgment of everyone around him. The paradox is fascinating. The vulnerability that makes us want to protect him actually hides cunning and control. He creates friendship, sparks empathy, and still manipulates the entire game without anyone noticing. It is as if we are watching a master of emotional chess, and only at the end do we realize that every gesture had a quiet purpose. And the most intriguing part, we connect with him, we get emotional, and we even root for him, without imagining that every smile and every joke were part of a sophisticated plan. It is the kind of story that messes with the mind and the heart and forces us to rethink whether we truly know the people around us. In today's video, we are going to dive into the psychology of Ilnam, understand his internal conflicts, his strategies, and how his fragile appearance became his most powerful weapon. If you are a fan of cinema, psychology, and want to understand the mind behind your favorite character, subscribe to the channel so you do not miss any video. But before that, comment below which character you want me to analyze here on the channel. Now let us go to the video. He appears on screen as that friendly old man, a bit clumsy, the kind that everyone looks at with a smile and thinks, "Ah, how cute, poor thing." But you can already feel that there is something more behind that serene and fragile look. Ilnam is not just an elderly man playing a game. He is the embodiment of a riddle that will make us question trust, power, and age. He is the kind of character that makes you think, is what I see really the truth? From the very first game, he presents himself as vulnerable, even a bit dependent. And that deceives not only the players, but us, the viewers. The way he stumbles, laughs nervously, and hesitates in decisions creates an aura of innocence that, for anyone who knows life, smells like manipulation. It is almost like a magic trick. While you focus on the left hand, the right hand has already made the final move. His personal story appears subtly, fragmented, with childhood memories and small comments about life. He mentions simple, almost ordinary things, but every word is loaded with meaning, a way of creating empathy and, at the same time, distraction. It is interesting to notice how a character can use memories and nostalgia to become trustworthy, even while being completely unpredictable. And it is precisely this duality that captivates us, tenderness versus mystery. Ilnam invites us to trust him, to laugh with him, and even to feel sorry for him. At the same time, every small gesture, every misplaced smile is a reminder that he may not be what he seems. He is the kind of character that makes you question your own interpretations of the people around you. There is also the matter of time. He is there, apparently limited, but he seems to know the game and its nuances in a way no one else does. Age, which is usually a synonym for fragility, becomes a psychological weapon. He is a blend of wisdom and manipulation that makes us reflect on how many times we have underestimated someone just because of appearances. The bond with Jihan, which arises naturally, adds another layer to the story. There is a genuine friendship that is born from the need for company and empathy. But even that relationship carries a shadow of ambiguity. The old man seems to play with Jihan's trust without him noticing at first, reminding us that even the sincerest bonds can hold hidden subtleties. At the same time, Ilnam provokes reflections about morality and choices. He is inside the game, but not for the same reasons as the others. And even so, he creates moments of human connection, as if reminding us that even in the cruelest environments, acts of kindness or friendship can still exist. It is a fascinating paradox that keeps us glued to the narrative, and it is in this balance between apparent fragility and silent cunning that the setup of the character closes. We are standing before someone who seems defenseless, but every gesture is calculated, every smile is an invitation to confusion. And while we get used to seeing only the little old man, the game begins to show us that his real story is yet to come, opening the path for the conflicts that will mark the narrative. How he fooled everyone. Ilnam enters the game and, at first glance, seems like the typical little old man everyone wants to protect. He stumbles, needs help to walk, smiles shyly, and just like that, empathy skyrockets. But behind that fragile smile, there is a master of silent manipulation. He understands how people think and feel and uses every gesture, every hesitation as a tool to control the perception of others. It is almost poetic if you think about it. He presents himself as defenseless but observes, calculates, and knows exactly whom to trust and when. Every unsteady step is studied. Every nervous laugh is a trick to divert attention. To the other players, he is the little old man who does not pose a threat, and that is the key. Underestimating him is exactly what he wants. He plays with our psychology like a child with chess pieces. The audience and the players fall into the trap, believing that his age defines his ability. But he shows, slowly, that experience and intelligence can surpass physical strength and youth. It is a silent lesson about hasty judgments and the power of observing before acting. And there is something unsettling about this kind of deception. We find ourselves rooting for him, laughing at his antics, and still, deep down, suspecting that something does not add up. It is that feeling of, I want to believe, but I cannot fully trust, that keeps us glued to the screen. He takes advantage of affection, of other people's kindness, and turns that into strategic advantage. At the same time, there is a certain charm in his manipulation. He is never explicitly cruel, never physically threatens others, but manages to guide decisions without anyone noticing. It is a subtle intelligence, almost poetic, that makes us admire and distrust him at the same time. And then we realize that power often hides in details no one notices. The defenseless old man also serves as a mirror for the players and for us, showing how we underestimate others based on appearance. The lesson is harsh but must be learned. Trust is not synonymous with naivety, and apparent fragility can hide enormous strength. It is the kind of conflict that makes us reflect on our own relationships and daily judgments. Every gesture of his, from the unsteady walk to the light jokes, carries multiple meanings. It is as if each small movement were a silent test to measure who is attentive and who is distracted. He creates a game within the game, a layer of manipulation that transforms his vulnerability into invisible power. And as we watch, we begin to realize that, Ilnam's real battle is not with the other players, but with their perception and ours. He teaches us, almost unintentionally, that emotional intelligence and strategic planning can surpass any physical advantage. And it is at this point that the story begins to deepen, leading directly to the friendship he builds with Gihan. His friendship with Gihan from the beginning, Ilnam approaches Gihan in a way that seems natural, almost casual, but full of subtleties. He laughs at the jokes, shares memories, asks for advice, and suddenly creates a bond that makes us believe in genuine friendship. It is the kind of relationship that reminds us of unlikely friendships that arise in the most unexpected moments of life when we least expect it. And there is something magical in the way he connects with Gi-hun. It is not just friendship, it is a psychological game of trust and empathy. He listens, comments, gets emotionally involved, and at the same time observes every reaction, every hesitation, almost as if he were studying human behavior in real time. It is a relationship that mixes human warmth with silent strategy. His presence brings comfort to Ji-hun, and the viewer feels that immediately. It is impossible not to get emotional with the moments when they talk about memories or small pleasures in life. But while we melt over this cute old man, he subtly tests boundaries, measures trust, and influences decisions without anyone noticing. What is curious is that this friendship generates internal dilemmas for Gi. He wants to protect Ilnam, help him, be by his side, without imagining that there are hidden layers of manipulation. This emotional conflict is rich because it forces us to reflect on how often our good intentions can be used by someone with hidden goals. And the genius of the character lies in making this relationship believable. He never forces the friendship, never demands anything, only offers presence and human warmth. And it is precisely this subtlety that makes us believe in the innocence of the old man, until everything is revealed in a shocking way. At the same time, this connection creates moments of genuine tenderness. Gi-hun smiles, gets emotional, and even feels protected by someone who, at first glance, seemed defenseless. The audience grows attached, feels empathy, and without realizing it, begins to question their own perception of power, friendship, and vulnerability. There is also constant tension, because the friendship is both real and manipulative at the same time. Every gesture, every smile is a dance between affection and control, and keeps us glued to the screen, wanting to understand whether Ji-hun will notice or be completely guided by this relationship. And it is in this dynamic that Oh Il-nam becomes unforgettable. He is not just a player or an antagonist, he is a friend, a master manipulator, and a mirror for our own emotions. And while we let ourselves be drawn into this friendship, the game continues, leading straight to one of the most impactful moments, his death in the marble game. His death in the marble game arrives as an apparently simple moment, but full of emotional tension. That instant when Ji-hun realizes that everything can change with a single move, and we feel the weight of responsibility on our own shoulders. It is as if we were there, afraid of making a mistake and losing someone who captivated us. Oh Il-nam faces the game with serenity, but there is something deeply melancholic in his expression. He knows that this is the moment to reveal that his time in the game was coming to an end, and that the appearance of fragility will finally become real vulnerability. It is a silent death, full of meaning, that makes us reflect on aging, choices, and the inevitability of life. And while he loses, the emotional impact is immense. It is not just the physical death, it is the breaking of a friendship, the end of a bond that made us believe in kindness inside a cruel game. Ji-hun, and we, along with him, feel shock, sadness, and even a hint of anger. It is the kind of moment that overwhelms the narrative and leaves a lasting mark. The interesting thing is how this death, even being real inside the story, also serves as a catalyst for Ji-hun and for the audience. It reveals the truth about Oh Il-nam, his cunning, and his genius. But paradoxically, it reinforces the human side of the character, who still connects deeply with others even when he is about to say goodbye. There is something poetic in his departure, an old man who seemed defenseless, who made us laugh, cry, and trust. Leaves the scene at the exact moment when his mask falls. His death is almost a theatrical gesture, carefully orchestrated to cause emotional impact and teach us once again about perception, trust, and deception. And even after death, the memory of Oh Il-nam persists. Ji-hun carries this experience, and we as viewers find ourselves rethinking the way we judge others and even how we value our own relationships and decisions. The lesson is not only about death, but about the intensity of life and the depth of human connections. The marble game, simple on the surface, becomes a symbol of life and death, fragility and strategy, trust and manipulation. Every move, every choice carries emotional and psychological weight, and shows us that Oh Il-nam was not just a player, but a master at provoking reflection and emotion. And it is at this point that we understand the total impact of the character. His death closes a cycle, but leaves a series of open questions and emotions, pulling us to understand who he really was and preparing the ground to reflect on his true role inside the game. Oh Il-nam's internal conflicts are reflected directly in each decision he makes inside the game. He does not act on impulse, but with an almost surgical calm, balancing cunning, charm, and vulnerability. Each move reveals his life experience and his deep understanding of human nature, making him unpredictable and fascinating at the same time. The friendship with Ji-hun, for example, is built upon these conflicts. He chooses to open up just enough to create empathy, but keeps secrets that ensure control and advantage. It is as if he were playing emotional chess. Each word and gesture are strategic pieces shaped by his fear of irrelevance and desire for connection. The silent manipulation of other players also arises from his ability to observe and understand behavioral patterns. He notices weaknesses, desires, and impulses, using them to guide decisions without anyone noticing. His calm and apparently fragile personality, therefore, becomes a powerful weapon, the result of decades of experience and reflection. Even his appearance of vulnerability is a conscious choice. He knows that deceiving others is essential to survive, and at the same time test their morality. This strategy is not only to win, but to explore human dynamics in extreme situations, turning the game into a mirror of real life. His internal conflicts also affect how he deals with risks. He takes risks only when there is a purpose, balancing pleasure, curiosity, and learning. Each decision in the game is therefore a reflection of his life philosophy: to experience, observe, understand, and when possible, influence the results discreetly. His subtle sense of humor, the way he makes light jokes even in tense moments, is also shaped by these conflicts. He uses this to create empathy, ease tension, and maintain emotional control over others, showing that personality and strategy walk side by side. His death, planned and serene, is perhaps the most significant choice, as it reflects his acceptance of mortality and the natural cycle of life. At the same time, it shows that his decisions were never impulsive. Each step inside the game is a direct reflection of who he is and how he processes his internal conflicts. And this is how O Il Nam becomes memorable, not only for his cunning or manipulation, but because each choice is full of psychological layers. He teaches us without direct words that personality and internal conflicts shape not only our actions, but also how we connect and impact others. The big revelation about O Il Nam, the revelation that O Il Nam is not just a defenseless old man, completely changes everyone's perception, players and viewers alike. That sweet and fragile figure becomes the architect of the game, someone who knows every rule, every risk, and every weakness of the others. It is as if suddenly we realized we had been admiring a conductor the whole time without noticing the baton. The emotional impact is intense. Ji-hun, who built a true friendship, finds himself betrayed and confused, and we feel every emotion with him. The shock is not just because of the deception, but because of how deeply we were led to trust and connect with someone who was manipulating everything behind the scenes. It is a mixture of admiration, anger, and even a certain silent respect. The revelation also makes us rethink all previous moments. Each gesture, each smile, each apparent vulnerability becomes a clue to his strategic intelligence. It is as if we were watching a second layer of the narrative, realizing that we were part of a psychological game much bigger than we imagined. And there is an ironic beauty in this. The audience feels empathy even knowing they were manipulated. It is a fascinating paradox because O Il Nam teaches us about human complexity, about how affection and manipulation can coexist, and how perception can be more powerful than physical strength. He also challenges us to reflect on judgments and stereotypes, age, fragile appearance, sweet and shy behavior. All the elements we use to read a person turn out to be misleading. It is a lesson about cognitive humility and about the need to see beyond appearances, something that goes far beyond the screen. Besides that, the revelation creates lasting tension. We realize that no one is completely safe, that each human relationship carries invisible complexities. It is a narrative that reminds us that real life also has its own O Il Nams, people who defy expectations and play with our perceptions in subtle ways. The narrative effect is powerful. It not only surprises, but leaves a psychological mark that makes the audience question everything they thought they knew about the game and the characters. It is a silent lesson about strategy, humanity, and emotional complexity. And while we process this revelation, we are naturally pulled toward the final reflection about his legacy inside the story. The death, the friendship, the manipulation, and the internal conflicts that define who he really was. The narrative still holds us, showing that O Il Nam's story is much deeper than it seemed. O Il Nam leaves us a deep lesson about perception and human judgment. He reminds us that appearance and vulnerability do not always match reality, and that people have invisible layers that only reveal themselves when we observe carefully. It is an invitation to reflect on how we judge and trust others in our own lives. His emotional intelligence and ability to read people teach us that empathy and strategy can walk together, but also that there are ethical limits in this combination. He shows that understanding others is not only useful, it is powerful, and that each human interaction carries potential for learning and impact. The friendship with Ji-hun highlights another point. Human connections are complex and multifaceted. Even in extreme situations, genuine friendship can coexist with subtle manipulation. It is a reminder that our relationships are always subject to nuances, and that trust, although precious, requires reflection and sensitivity. His death in the marble game is symbolic and psychological. It not only ends his physical path, but forces us to confront universal themes, mortality, legacy, and choices. It is as if he said that life is made of strategic moments, and that the awareness of time turns each action into meaning. O Il Nam also challenges us to question our own perception of power and vulnerability. He shows that apparent fragility can hide immense strength, that wisdom can overcome physical force, and that each individual has internal resources that are not always visible. He leaves us reflections about ethics and morality. How far can manipulation be justified in the name of learning or entertainment? How do we deal with people who play with our perceptions without hurting us physically but affecting us emotionally? These are questions that remain with us, provoking introspection. In the end, O Il-nam is a mirror for us. He forces us to think about our own choices, about the trust we give, about the limits of control and empathy. He is complex, intriguing, and unforgettable, showing that rich characters go far beyond the surface we see. And while we reflect on him, we realize that the greatest lesson is perhaps about attention and perception. To observe, understand, and question is as essential in life as in surviving a deadly game. It is a journey that connects us with our own vulnerabilities and potentialities. And so, what did you think of diving into O Il-nam's mind? Amazing how a character who seemed defenseless teaches us so much about perception, trust, and manipulation, is it not? Now I want to know from you, which other character do you want me to analyze on our channel? Every detail of his story makes us reflect on our own choices and relationships. And if you identified with these lessons or want to understand even more about the psychology of complex characters, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. This way, you keep learning about the characters that fascinate us so much. So comment below what impressed you the most in O Il-nam's story and already leave your suggestion of the next character you want to see analyzed. Each opinion of yours helps create even deeper and more entertaining content for everyone.